Welcome everybody. Welcome all our speakers, especially for taking all the time out, and welcome to all our participants for being here. This is really a wonderful opportunity. Like so many stars in the sky, we have so many students from different universities and all top exciting universities that we want to know so much about. We've got a wonderful representation from the US. We've got Michigan. We've got USC, two of the leading universities. We've
And
got
even Brown.
and Brown, yeah, outstanding. And we have UBC and McGill from Canada. We hopefully will have Cambridge soon, but we have LSE from UK and so many other top universities that many of you are representing. The idea really was to introduce students who are applying to students who are already there. So that sometimes I feel students think that if someone had told me this, I wish I could go back and tell my younger self this, right? So here's your opportunity to tell so many younger selves of yours who are going there what is the stuff that they need to know, what to be prepared for mentally, how to prepare yourself for college, what really works and what doesn't work, and how can they be the best version of themselves, what college may suit them or not. So we've got a list of questions ready. Some questions were sent to us by our participants already. So be prepared to bare your souls with so many questions being thrown at you guys. We're really looking forward to hearing your story. Those of you who've joined us, a quick 2 minutes on I Know Me. So as you would know, I Know Me is a self-discovery based career and college guidance firm. And we'll just play you a little video to just give you a sense of what I Know Me is. If you can give me a minute for that, or Ankit, would you be able to find our the I Know Me video, which you can just play for us quickly?
Let me just quickly find.
Yeah. So,
all right. And Cambridge is joining in 5 minutes.
Wonderful. So, one request to all of you is that it's a free-flowing sessions. We've not broken it up according to country because we thought that the insights of everybody on all questions will be really useful. So, feel free to ask whatever questions come to you. If you have so we've sort of broken up a conversation into topics and areas, right? Which Anjana will sort of lead and facilitate. But if you have some other question that you want to ask and you feel the conversation is going in some other direction, park it by putting it in the chat, because otherwise you may forget, right? And really use this to get the insights that you are looking for. Will someone from U of T be joining? Tanvi asks. I don't think so. Is there?
No, we have a student and he's not yet
joined.
Yeah, Shlok hasn't joined, though he had confirmed, so we hope he'll be joining us. We have a student on the panel from
I think he would join because he did respond to me a while back.
Yes, that he'll join. So maybe wherever he is, he will join, and we'll try and reach out to him if he can. Okay. All right.
So Ankit, do you have the movie ready to play? There you are, right? Okay. All right, so just showing you a quick, very short movie as an overview of our work. Right. So that's just, what we do, help all of you find the direction that's right for you and help you move in that direction with success. So that's I Know Me, I Know Myself for you. And here are all the students to guide you. Over to you, Anjana, to facilitate this wonderful discussion.
Thank you, Richa. It's so nice. I can even online, I can feel the energy of the youth from across the globe. So imagine if it was offline, we would be like, the room would be brimming with energies. Anyways, so it's nice. Thank you everyone from for joining in, to the speakers who have taken out time, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, because we have some students who've passed out already in their profession, and there are students who have joined in the last couple of years, are experiencing college life. So we are, we're very, very fortunate to have you all, and thank you for taking our time during a weekend and on a Saturday evening, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon for someone. So, and we are very happy to have speakers from India, Ashoka, Flame, OP Jindal as well. We have Vedant, Samad, Rishad. They are also here.
Absolutely, yes.
And thank you to all the participants. As Richa said that, you feel free to ask questions. The event flow it's quite informal. We have not kept it. We've got some guiding questions, and it's more like a conversation with our speakers. So if you get a question in mind, just put it in the chat box. We will give you an opportunity to ask directly also. And we have some guiding questions so that we can have our eminent speakers and students, answer those and let us know, share their experiences of college life. So essentially, there are 4 categories that we thought of, asking the questions around. One is campus life. Oh, so we have U of T student here. For the question somebody had asked, we have Shlok here, right?
And Kings is also here, and we also just joined.
Yeah. So we will be asking questions around campus life in colleges, internship, job opportunities, how are the schedules, classes, academics, how is it, are there teachers, professors to handhold, how do you approach the professors and all, and largely critical skills for success during college and beyond. So these are the 4 topics that we are looking at. Okay, so what I'll do is we start with probably campus life, because that's the fun part. So let's start with the fun part and warm up to the little more serious part on the academics.
So I'm going to, sorry, before you guys start, what I'm just asking Romy to do is put a list of the speakers by, country name and college in the Zoom chat, so that students can, attendees can refer to it. So if you have a particular question for a particular college or a speaker, you'll be able to see that list and call out to them. Yeah, go ahead, Anjali.
Okay, so I am just breaking the thing here because I see that Shaunak from Santa Clara, California, class of Shaunak is 2023. So he graduates this year, is it, Shaunak?
No, Shaunak is
no, I graduated from high school.
Okay.
Just 1 year into this.
Oh, 1 year into it. All right. Okay. So, and Shaunak writes that my flight is taking off soon. So how about I begin with you before you fly away?
Yeah.
All right. So Shaunak,
Sure.
tell us about the campus life in Santa Clara.
So Santa Clara is a small campus, and I think colleges like this is something that everyone should think about very seriously, because having a small campus means that you're friends with everyone. And that actually leads into the tip that I thought about, is you should have friends in high places. And what I mean by that is that you should be friends with people who can get you things. I know that sounds very manipulative, but for example, I have a lot of friends who are grad students, and I made friends with them by things such as playing like a cricket tournament with grad students, or enrolling in this research project with grad students. And what that does is it not only like gives you connections that you can leverage later on, but it gives you people who you can talk about with when you're having like some issue, or people who you can take advice from because they've been through everything before. And you should
Okay.
also be trying to make friends with people like professors and TAs, your teaching assistants, because they're the ones who are gonna like guide you through everything. And obviously, you should have like friends from your own peer group, but it's really important to have friends in places higher than you. So that would be my one tip.
Okay, great. Thanks, Shauna. Just tell us about some of the clubs that you have in the Santa Clara, what you joined. I see that you are doing computer science engineering, right? Yeah.
So I'm part of a couple of clubs. I'm in a cultural club called Internship, which is the Indian Cultural Club. Then I'm also a part of the volleyball club team. I'm also part of the table tennis club team, and I'm in this program called the Maker Lab, which is it's like this lab where we have a bunch of tools for designing, and every week we'll get together and we'll just like start a project on something. Like right now we're making a fridge. So a bunch of us will just like get together every yeah, so a bunch of people get together every week, and it's very interdisciplinary. So we'll have like mechanical, computer science, and like we have like a biological engineer, and we'll all get together and like build a project that will take us a while, but it's a lot of fun and it's really entertaining.
Okay, great. And so let me go from a smaller university to a large university. Thank you, Shaunak. I will.
Yeah, I think he needs to
Thank
go
you
and get his flight.
Yeah,
Let
right.
you go.
Safe
That is
flight,
nice
yeah.
Yeah, to have,
Yeah.
shared your moments with us.
Right.
Have a safe flight
Right.
back home. Take care.
Okay, safe travels, Shaunak. So I just want to now set the rules. That was because I didn't want to lose Shaunak's input here. So how I'm going to do is when I ask a question, what I would like is that in case anyone else has something else to add or to compare with, so please feel free to jump in. This is for the speakers, that how is it different in your university? So what I want is that if you could have a conversation amongst yourself, that we heard, Santa Clara, this is what it is. Okay, so we have Brown. What was the how was the campus life like? What was the student life like? So while I will direct the questions to the people at respective universities, I request the speakers to jump in and say that, I just want to add that this is how I felt about it, right? So this is how we move on. So let me move to a slightly bigger university or a larger university. Nisha, are you here?
Yes, hi.
Okay, Nisha, why don't you share your experiences at Brown?
Sure. So at Brown, in terms of campus life, some of the things that I was involved in, I was a part of this house called Buxton, which is the international house at Brown. It was pretty unique to.
Just a second. May I request the participants to mute yourself? We are getting some background noise that's disturbing. Yeah. Yes, Nisha, go ahead.
Sure. So I was part of Buxton, which is something that was pretty unique to Brown. It was an international house that we actually lived in, kind of like we had different program houses. So some of those were fraternities and sororities. Some of them were specific to different cultures or people's interests. And ours was the international house. So that was a big part of my community. It was a great way to meet other international students and like all of my close friends were also in that house as well. So that was something that was pretty unique, and it was a great way to like even talk about things like, OPT, applying for different jobs, which one supports visas, like how to travel, like internships, all of those things. It was really helpful for that. And we also, did a lot of different social events. Another thing that I think for campus life really helped me, I studied computer science. So going in as much as possible, going in person, just being in that computer science building physically, because that's just a great opportunity to meet people. And the more people you meet, the more opportunities you have for people to come and help you with things, to work collaboratively on projects. A piece of advice that somebody that I had as a mentor coming into college gave me was my freshman year, the first semester. He told me, just try to say yes to as many things as you possibly can, even if you're very tired, because that first semester is when people are the most inclined to meet new people, to form new relationships. So as many connections and friendships as you can make in that first semester, it'll really pay off. And that I found to be completely true. I had a really, really big social circle, which helped me, socially, but also academically. Later on, you'll see that maybe somebody that you met your first year semester might be in a class your junior year, your senior year fall, and then you can reconnect with them. You don't have to stay close with them, but just forming that initial relationship really pays off that first semester.
That's a very useful advice. I hope the students who are college bound this year and the subsequent years have made a note of that. And from US, I would like to move to India. And can I request Samarth to talk about the campus life in Ashoka here?
So I think it's very similar to what the previous speaker, last speaker spoke about. Like, it's a small university, so you definitely know everyone. In terms of like probably the disadvantages of campus life is that we're in the middle of a fairly agricultural town. So there is no sort of going out, there's no restaurants, there's no clubs, nothing like that. Everything that sort of revolves around campus life occurs within the campus itself. But within the campus, as a result, like almost taking that as motivation, everyone sort of wants to do a lot with it. So you have, because we're essentially trying to aspire to create a US system, you have a number of clubs that have been taken from like using US systems as framework. So we have your rank of consulting clubs, every academics department has their own club, all of these sort of cultural ministries, sports ministries. You'll constantly have tournaments, you'll constantly have fests, you'll constantly have clubs putting up stalls and fairs. So you'll never go onto campus and feel like, oh, it's empty, or oh, there's nothing happening. There's always sort of something or the other going on there. There's a very vibrant space.
That's interesting to note. And I am sure it's like, it kind of gives you a good energy to look forward to, and the vibrance that exists in campus, which is similar, as you say, to US. How about we do this? We ask the similar questions about clubs and the campus life. How is it in UK? Do we have Anvi here?
Yeah. So
Hi, Anvi. Yes. Why don't you tell us about your King's College?
yeah, so in King's, it's like we have campuses all over London. It's not like one campus is the entire of King's. So it's mainly like you have one in Southwark, basically different parts, Strand, St. Thomas's, Waterloo, everywhere across London. And they're small buildings. So again, like the previous speaker said, you'll go to campus, you'll definitely find people there, you'll find events happening, fairs happening, something or the other will always be happening. But again, it's small, and with respect to like socializing and everything, you should definitely go to campus, put yourself out there, and go and talk to people, because like before it's too late, because your first year, first semester, there are the most amount of people who will be willing to like make friends with you and everything. But otherwise, campus life is basically like you just go to college and it's buildings, and there are people, there are stalls, fairs and everything. You can interact with whoever you want to, but you need to make the effort. It's not going to come to you.
Okay, so how about the clubs? Opportunities to join clubs in King's College. We also have Siddharth from King's. So Andy, you would like to talk about the clubs?
And yeah, sure. So the
Yes.
clubs, there are all kinds of clubs. You're free to make your own clubs and write to the student union. You can, they give you like a variety of options. As the India SOC, that's the most popular. Then there are like, you know, if you're interested in any sport, there are those kind of clubs as well. There are these cooking clubs. And where one thing is very good is in the UK, I think it's a thing. So there's a freshers fair, and in that all clubs put stalls, and you can literally go and explore each club and like maybe go to them, talk to the heads of the clubs, the presidents, and get to know about it. So you get a lot of opportunity in case you want to join the club or you want to reach out to them. And they have Instagram accounts. There's a website for the KCL Student Union. So you can go there, reach out to them, and they're very open. It's a wonderful way for like socializing, meeting new people, gaining friends.
Wonderful. So, Siddharth, would you like to add on the King's campus life here?
No, I think Anvi covered it really well. Some of the things that she mentioned really about societies, that's what clubs are. And the society life is extremely vibrant at King's. It's, of course, it caters to everyone's interests, but I think it is one of the best way to make friends, because I can think of societies like the Taylor Swift Society, where you aren't really doing anything, right? It's not per se going and playing cricket or something like that. It's just a society where people who love Taylor Swift music just come together and sit down and make friends. And I know that that is probably one of the best ways to make friends at King's. Just go and find societies, because there are over 250 societies at
Wow,
the
that
university.
sounds pretty interesting.
And
Okay.
yeah, so that's pretty much it. And every year people open up their own societies as well. So that's, I think, probably one of the best parts of the King's campus life. Yeah.
Wonderful. So I'll now like to move on to our next topic, which is around academics and tutoring, or the classes, subjects, classes like that. Should I start with a fun question and I leave it open to whoever wants to answer? Did anyone here who's attending college, did you bunk classes? Was there any penalty? I remember from my college days, we used to bunk classes. So would anyone like to answer that? Any of the speakers?
I can go.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
yes.
So
Please go
yeah,
ahead.
I've definitely, I guess, bunked classes, but I'm going to be very honest here as well. But Ashoka, it essentially depends on the professor that you take. So the different courses will have different professors, and every course has its own attendance policy. There is no university-wide sort of mandate on attendance policy. I've had some professors who've been real, I'm not going to say it. Essentially, if you like miss 3 classes, you get an F immediately, which is sort of something that you have to be very cognizant of. And then you have also professors on the other end of the spectrum who have no attendance policies, who will just say, if you don't want to come to my class, that's fine, you don't have to. So it really varies, but I think in Ashoka, you'll be more rewarded if you do go for classes, not just like from the professor's perspective, but also because it'll help you in like your exams and your papers and whatnot.
So Smat, are you trying to say that there is no, percentage that is expected of you to attend classes, percentage of classes, number of classes? It's entirely up to you at Ashoka?
It's entirely up to the professor, ma'am. So whatever the professor
Yeah.
mandates, if the professor says you can miss up to
3 classes or whatever. But there are certain classes, certain subjects that they don't really require a minimum attendance. Is that correct?
There's some that say there's
anybody who's aiming for Ashoka should know this, right? So you have a lot of chances to bunk classes.
pretty much. There is to have
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just realized I haven't asked a question to a student from Canada. I should probably Shlok. Would you tell us about the University of Toronto? Do tell us what you're pursuing, and talk about the academics per se. How are you, finding it? How's the classroom interactions? How do you connect with the professor? How is it different from a high school to a college?
Sure. So I'm actually doing a weird combination of subjects right now because I've switched my major from econ and finance to applied math and econ, and I have a CS minor along with that. So the thing with the University of Toronto is that academics, they're very heavy. So while the university does accept a large number of people, what they do is in the first year, uh, to meet your to get into your you're not actually in your program in the first year of study at Toronto. You get your program in, say, the second year. So say if I want a CS major, I need to get a specific grade in a couple of courses. And the first year courses are notorious for weeding out students from the competitive courses. So CS is known to be harsh on people who come out, who essentially take it easy in the first year and end up, say, getting below the cutoff. They won't let you in the program at all. So that's something to be cognizant about when you're coming to Toronto, is that you have to be on top of your game in your first year. When it comes to the classes itself, it depends on the class size actually, because I've had classes with, say, 400 people, and on one extreme, and on the other extreme, I've had classes with, say, 10 people. So you have very varying degrees of interaction with your professor. But what I will say is most, if not all, professors make the effort to be available to students for a specific amount of time through the week in office hours, and even outside those. If you email them and communicate with them, they will be there for you to support whatever challenges you're facing in the course itself. So the onus is essentially on you to communicate with them. They won't come chasing you for anything. If you have a problem, you go straight to them, and they will be there. Is essentially what. Yeah.
All right. So you mean to say that especially with CS major and otherwise, the students must be very cognizant and aware of that they must meet the cutoff.
Yeah.
So it's not like from school to college, it's fun as it looks like when you're in high school, that, okay, now I'm going to college, I can have fun. You can have fun, but you need to be serious about when it comes to University of Toronto. You've got to be serious about meeting the criteria for your program.
And I will add to that, if I can. So a lot of econ majors go into Rotman Commerce, which is essentially the business program. It's jointly offered between the business school and the Faculty of Arts and Sciences. The first year econ courses are known to be tough. Like I've had friends who have failed the course and had to do them again just to get their program. Because some people, like I know some people who like completely failed their course, and then they're in their second year right now, but they can't do the program they came for. They're having to switch to a far less competitive program than what they initially came to the university for. So it's known to accept a lot of people in the first year, but there's a reason for why the dropout rate is ridiculously high at U of T. It's around like 15% or something.
Is it entire U of T you're talking about, or specifically to Rotman?
No, it's the entire university itself.
So you mean the academics are pretty heavy, right?
They are very rigorous.
Yeah, sounds like that. So Aryan, Shiv, is it the same at McGill also, Canada?
I'd say it's pretty similar, yes. McGill itself is a very academic-oriented university. So, to reference it earlier, in terms of activities and campus life, it's more for the students and by the students. So McGill gives much more of a focus on maintaining your GPA and on attending your classes, even though there's no mandatory attendance taken. And during my time at McGill, I've seen there's mainly two types of professors. There's those that are more research oriented, and there's those that are more academic oriented. So the professors who are at McGill mainly for research won't be the best lecturers in a sense. You can kind of get away with missing the classes. But at the same time, there's no two ways about it. There's no shortcuts. If you're missing out on a class, you have to do the work to back it up. It's not like a Rocky montage where a song plays and within 5 minutes you've got this, you've achieved all your goals. It's not about cramming work within the last 2 weeks, before the finals. It's about consistent daily steps. So the best way is to figure out what level of studiousness you have. So, I'm personally someone who studies better at night, who prefers to, do activities, relax during the day. There's somebody who prefers to wake up early in the morning and get all the work done. Basically, there's no two ways about it. Academically oriented universities require you to have a little bit of grit, work a decent amount, but you need to work very consistently. Subjects themselves will not be confusing if you are constantly in the loop. If you're constantly practicing those subjects week in, week out, you won't have any issues otherwise.
All right. So I would like to go to USC, US now. How are the classes and the schedules there, Shivi? If you could talk about it.
So, hi, I'm Shivi. My major is global geodesign, and I just finished my first year at USC. So, about classes and schedules. So at the end of every semester, you'll register for classes for the next semester, and you have the freedom to pick the classes that you want based on the requirements that you must meet for your program. But also at USC, we have general education requirements. So normally in the first year for for people who aren't in math or CS or one of those very rigorous engineering type courses, we will take the general education classes in the first year. And so yeah, you have general education requirements and then you have your program requirements. And normally in each program, you'll have a set list of requirements, and then you'll have a bunch of electives that you can pick from a certain school at USC. And that's how you can create your schedule based on your needs and your preferences every semester.
And how the professors are they supportive? How do they like help you when you're scheduling your classes? Do you have an advisor or somebody to guide you for that? If you could talk about it.
Yes. So every student is attached to an advisor. In the first year, I think this was the first time that USC did this. They had a separate first year advisor. So for my first year, I had someone in Dornsife, which is the College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences, and that advisor advised several students across programs within my college, within Dornsife. But from next year onwards, I'll have an advisor that's specific to my degree, which is geodesign. And they'll be from the spatial sciences department. But yes, you always have an advisor who can help you pick out your classes, make sure you're meeting course requirements when you're choosing your classes, and helping you balance your time.
All right. Okay, so while we are at the US colleges, I would like to throw this question open to you and Nisha and even Eileen. How flexible it was or how flexible it is in the college that you are in or are in to change your major? Because this is a question we often get it from all our students as they are getting up for college, that how flexible it is. Can you change the major? How difficult it is? What are the challenges while choosing the major? And Nisha, if you would also throw your light with your experiences at Brown, that would be great. And Eileen from she did her bachelor's from Haverford in US. Yes.
Yeah, I can go ahead and talk a little bit about Brown because it's a little bit unique in terms of majors. I don't know if it's changed since I was there, but the unique thing about Brown is the statistic is that on average, every student, the average number of times that a student changes their major is 2.5 times. So I didn't change my major, but a majority of my friends all changed their majors. So what you do is the way that you apply with a specific major and as you come into Brown, but then you have 2 years until the end of your sophomore year to actually decide your major. So we have this thing called open curriculum where you can take basically whichever classes you want. We have no core requirements. Each major has a set of requirements for the set of class requirements, but outside of that, you can take any single class you want. So a lot of students take that opportunity then in their first year to figure out which classes they like, which majors they're excited about. And then even though you apply with a specific major, it's kind of a free for all. You just go in, decide what you like, decide what works the best for you, and then choose your major at the end of your sophomore year. And there's no, as of when I was there, there's no limitations on who can go into what major. There's no caps, there's no quota. Anybody can do anything basically. And so that's what was really nice about that experience.
So that's so US gives you more flexibility, and especially Brown with its open curriculum. That's what I get the message, Nisha. Yeah. Eileen, would you like to throw some light on the same thing on major choices while you were at Haverford?
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, it had been extremely flexible. You're free to change your major, I think, very often for your own good, beyond a point. I personally didn't change my major. I had a very rigid schedule laid out for myself because there were lots of things that I wanted to pack into the 4 years that I was there. But I did consider doing that, I think, sometime in my second year, but then I couldn't have pursued a study abroad in my third year. Having said that, as long as you're meeting the core requirements of your major, and because each major would have certain number of credits attached to it, so a part of it would form the core requirements and the rest would be electives. And that can vary from major to major. For me, I did a double major in economics and international studies. So for my economics major, we had to complete 10 or 11 credits. The additional credit was like a math course. But as long as you could complete all of those requirements within the remaining time that you had at the college, you were free to change majors. My friend changed her major from she initially declared math as her major, and then junior year she changed to music. So you can literally go from one extreme to the other with fairly easily, I would say.
All right. So we have a Cambridge graduate here. In fact, two Cambridge graduates, one from the engineering and the other from history from Cambridge University, UK. I'm just talking about the same topic on question. My question is on class schedule and the how you approach the professor. How does the tutoring happens or teaching happens? Shubham and Eliza, if you could tell us about how the classes and the class scheduling and the classes in Cambridge in your respective courses.
I'm happy to talk to both. Eliza's just gone to the toilet. So I'll talk about the questions. The first one, so the engineering or STEM courses have classes from about 9 o'clock in the morning to 2 to 3 p.m. 80% of your classes are lectures, and the other 20% are usually labs and practicals. So that's usually your day-to-day from Monday to Thursday, and Friday usually finish a bit earlier. The second part of your teaching is the homework that you get. So usually from 3 o'clock to about 6, 7 o'clock every evening, you'd be doing the work that's been assigned. So for STEM subjects, that's going to involve question sheets, little research papers, little topics of research, and things of that nature. And then the final bit is your supervision. So about 4 to 5 hours a week, you'll have time 2-on-1 with a professor. So 2 students, you and a partner and a professor. And you'll be going over the lecture material in the form of the questions that you've been given. So the homework that you're assigned will be discussed almost like you would with your tuition teachers right now. Except you're now, instead of being taught how to do it, you're being challenged about why you've done it in the way that you've approached your questions. And assuming you're depending on your supervision, if you're able to progress through the assigned work in less than the time allotted, then you start discussing topics in and around the area. So if you are looking at, let's say in engineering, you're fluids, and you've done a few questions on those, then the professor will start trying to relate what you've learned in that to his research, to what's going on in industry at the time, and see if where those concepts are applicable. So it's a very interesting thing. In the humanities, so history, English, and all other such subjects, it's slightly different. So you'll have lectures for about 2 to 3 hours a day. You'll have classes about 3 or 4 times a week where you're asked to prepare some reading. So you're asked to do some reading for classes, and the classes are then discussion based. So that is the standard. That's the equivalent of your 9 to 3 o'clock for engineering or STEM subjects. And then instead of getting question sheets, you're asked to write a essay of about 3,000 to 4,000 words every week on a particular topic. And that topic is what is being covered in lectures this week, or has been covered in lectures previously, or sometimes has not yet been covered in lectures. So those two things aren't quite synced. So you do your own reading on the topic, you get reading lists to look from, you get a list of 20 or essay questions you can choose to answer. And then for your supervisions, which happen once a week for humanities, but they happen for 2 to 3 hours. You submit an essay, and one-on-one with the professor, you discuss the essay that you've written, and you understand what are the arguments around it. You discuss the essay, you discuss the topic more widely. What are the ways you could improve the topic? What are the ways you could have improved the way you write about the topic? And that's the way your course progresses. So there's a bit of overlap with some subjects, some STEM subjects like biomedicine. You have some weeks where you have more question papers, some weeks where you have more essays. But generally, those are your two options for the way your course progresses over 3 years.
Right, that sounds pretty intense academically. It seems like a very intense schedule for the week at Cambridge. I'm jumping back to India. Hang in there, Shubham. We'll have more questions. I'm sure we'll have our participants also have some more questions to you. Vedant from Flame. While we are talking on the class schedule, would you tell us about how are the classes and the schedule at Flame?
Right.
Vedant?
Hi.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, my camera is glitching, so I've decided to turn it off. Right. So I've just finished my first year at Flame University, and like there are 5 streams for which you can decide. Like there's physical and natural sciences, humanities, fine and performing arts, social science, and global studies. You're supposed to take like 2 courses from each of these streams, along with the university requirement, which are going to be your foundation courses. These include like academic writing, public speaking, applied ethics, critical reasoning, digital literacy, financial literacy, introduction to EVS. So what they're doing is they're grooming you overall with these courses along with courses from your streams. What they want from you is that you come to Flame with an open mind. So like obviously you have to do your research, you have to have a major in your mind, a major in your mind, and a minor. But throughout the year, after doing like every course and every stream, then like that is when you make your final decision on what you want to do, what you want to pursue as a major and minor in the future. And yeah, obviously, like other universities, you can change it whenever you want. Unfortunately, in Flame, if you change your major, like let's say right at the start of second year, you might have to pay a fees of around 5K.
Okay.
The
So
classes
do
are like
they? Yeah.
no, I was just saying like sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead with that. Yes.
Yeah. The classes are like 2 hours long with a 5-minute break in the middle, so you have a good amount of breathing time. You can roam around for like good like 5 minutes. It's all gone. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, great. So you have the foundation year, and you have then only you choose your major. So they do expose you to a variety of courses on choosing the major. Yeah. All right.
If I could just come in and ask the same question from Rishad. He's at
Sure.
OP
Yeah,
Jindal.
OPG. I was just going to do that.
Get
Yes.
an idea about this. Rishad, what are your views on it?
So in OP Jindal, we basically have 2 classes during the day, and there are different times. One can be in the evening too, and you have a lot of time between those classes, so you can rest or do your work or anything related to that. But at all times, like they give like 20-30 minute breaks between those classes. So I mean, for me, it always was very flexible, the whole process, because in the morning I used to wake up, attend one class, and then chill the whole day, and then in the evening look forward to my next class. So that's what it was about in Jindal.
Okay, that sounds like a pretty flexible schedule to, try out other things and enjoy the college life, or participate in the activity, different activities.
So I must mention here that Rishad is into music, and he gets some time to do his music.
Wow, that's nice. Right.
Okay, Anjana, sorry, but I think Aryan needs to leave in 5 minutes. So, if you could just get his, time before we can let him go.
Yeah. So, we did hear Aryan regarding from McGill. Yes, we did hear him out regarding the, how the academic schedules and the majors are, and how the academic pressures are in Canada, while he added to U of T. So, Aryan, before you leave, I have a question for you, is that because we get a sense of that in Canadian universities, they're very particular about, you have to fulfill the prerequisites to be able to get your choice of major and all. So before you leave, just leave some tips on, having a successful life at McGill. If you could just throw some light on that.
I'd say having a successful life at McGill would definitely involve, like I think somebody had said earlier, saying yes to everything, at least initially. There are a lot of opportunities at McGill, especially to introspect, to improve yourself, to get exposure to a bunch of different activities which will help you improve not only mentally, but in terms of your CV as well. And so succeeding at McGill, I mean, I've been there years, just a year so far, but I'd say succeeding at McGill definitely involves really sticking it out. And one of the best tips I could give is to make sure you know what your strengths are, play to your strengths. I know I'm somebody who wouldn't, again, like I said, like to cram a lot at one point. I'm somebody who likes to plan out my schedule in bits and pieces. So in that sense, McGill is a university that is, again, very flexible. It has people from all walks of life who have a multitude of interests. I have 3-4 interests that I'm able to maintain while keeping a high GPA. So I think McGill is certainly a community that fosters you to explore every single aspect of your life, and encourages you to, explore every single thing about yourself and about Montreal as a city itself.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
Before we let you go, Aryan, anybody in the audience has any specific question for McGill? Anybody wants to know anything about the place, the university? We can pose the question here.
Right. So while you post the question, and while we have Aryan, can I start our conversation with Anujay, who's from TU Delft here, and we are so happy to have him here from Netherlands. So we have the student life experiences and the college life experiences from TU Delft, Netherlands. Anujay?
Yes.
Yeah. So I have questions on academics in Netherlands. Please tell us about you pursuing aerospace engineering at TU Delft. So can you tell us, how are the classes like? We've heard about India, UK, US, Canada. Now tell us about Netherlands. How does it work there?
So it's very different in the Netherlands. I'm actually in the US now. I am doing my master's here in University of Michigan.
Okay, great.
So I graduated last year, and the system is really different in the Netherlands. You have no I came here and I realized, so there is no flexibility. Once you're in the program, you're in the program. You cannot change it in any way, shape, or form. So all the courses in our bachelor are different. So for every major, so all the classes are different. So there are 180 credits. You'll have to take 60 credits per year. So that's 3-year engineering right there for you. That's totally different. And the first year you'll have to really like top it up because you have a 45 credit requirement. So if you cannot complete 45 credits, they'll kick you out for 5 years and then you cannot reapply to the same program. So yeah, and this is a very strict requirement. And so for example, 440 students got in with me in aerospace engineering bachelor. So that's a huge batch there for you. And as far as I remember, 120 people graduated with me.
Oh, what happened to the rest?
They dropped out. At some point, they dropped out, or they might be doing their program in more than 3 years. So the average time taken to graduate is approximately 4 years or 4.5 years. So it's a really academically strong university. You have really hard courses. And the actual, so getting in is easier as compared to some of the US universities, I would say. But it's a really academically strong university, so they expect a lot of work from you. Yeah, so the system is also a bit different. Homeworks are rare, contrary to the US, and everything depends on like a few exams. Attendance is not existent, otherwise in projects where it's really enforced. So in projects, if you miss 1 or 2, they'll just kick you out, and there are no exceptions to this rule.
Well, that sounds tough. Yeah. Hang in there, Anujay. I have some questions on internships when we start talking about that. I would like to bring in Yashaswini from London School of Economics here, and Eileen is also, master's from LSE 2022. She graduated. So, how is it in London School of Economics, Yashaswini? If you could throw some light on, is it as strict as it sounds at TU Delft or the McGill and U of T in terms of the classes and schedule and choices of major and all? If you could talk about it, Yashaswini.
Hi, so I've been at LSE for 2 years now. I'm graduating next year, given that I passed my exams. But yeah, so in terms of academics, I'd say it's very rigorous. That's one thing that you need to be cognizant about before you come. Like, academic life at LSE is sort of, like it's going to surprise you in the first few months because you're just not like, especially as a CBSE student, I'm just not used to that system. So it took me some time to get used to that. But I think that in terms of professors, everyone is really, really helpful. It is very research oriented. I do sociology, but a bachelor's of sciences in sociology. And I do not have any background in maths, but then I have to do coding. I have to do statistics. So that is one thing that you need to be aware about before you come. That is your program a BSc or a BA? Because most of the programs that LSE offers are BSc, unless you're doing anthropology or history. I think those are the only 2 courses that do not require you to have like a math background.
While you are there at this particular point, would you be able to tell us about the difference between BA and BSc? What if it is the same subject?
Yes, so most of the universities in the UK that offer sociology, my program, it's a BA, which means that you learn about, specifically in terms of sociology, that it's not very research oriented. So you learn mostly the theory part of it. But if it's BSc, then they would expect you to, know how to use like the softwares used to code it, or it's basically more research oriented. And then there's also statistics that you have to, learn. There is so we use R and Stata with us. We are taught basics of Python, but it is not used basically. So, and yeah, that is the major difference I feel. But in terms of classes and also LSE in general, so it expects you to indulge in a lot of independent learning. So while there is a lot of support offered, but then it is mostly expected out of you to, sort of do everything on your own. So we do have lectures. So right now in 2nd and 3rd year, you have 4 modules. So you would have technically 4 lectures a week and then 4 classes after that. So you have lectures where the professor basically, is just giving you a lecture. and then you have a couple of readings to do before the class, then you can come to the class and discuss those readings. So it's a very interactive session that you have. So I find myself on campus only 4 hours a week. So you can sort of, allocate the classes according to what you like. I go personally 2 days a week. So I've moved all of my classes to 2 days a week so that it's more convenient for me because I like to space my week out.
Okay.
And so I just feel that you would not be spending a lot of time in classes, but then you would end up spending a lot of time in college, in university, just studying and revising what has been taught to you. Professors are very helpful in terms of if you have any doubts, you can always book office hours, go to them, approach them directly, mail them. They're super responsive. And also all the professors that we have are the ones who are at the top of, their academic discipline. Like these are the professors that I personally wrote about in my personal statement, and now I'm getting to study from them.
Oh, wow, that sounds so exciting.
I find it super cool. So yeah, I just feel that in terms of everything, LSE, if I have to describe it, it's very academically rigorous. Again, everything is really nice. It's just that you have to do everything on your own. Also, we don't have a campus life as such. I mean, we have one campus, but we don't live there. Everyone just lives scattered across the city. So you have to commute to campus, right? So that is one thing. So if you are exclusively looking for like a small community feeling, or if you want to, like know everyone one-to-one, then it gets a bit difficult because like everyone's just coming from different parts of the world. Another thing is LSE 70% internationals. So it's very diverse. You meet people from amazing places. And yeah, anything specific if you have, I can ask it. I think
yeah, sure. Right. Thank you. Thanks, Yashaswini. Yes. Eileen, so would you like to add to that from your master's experience at LSE? And also, Eileen, it would be good if you could share your insights on, because you studied in a US university and did your master's at LSE, you just compare the two and throw some light on how the student life is and how is it different, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think first I'll echo a lot of the sentiments that have already been expressed about LSE. It is very structured, it's very rigorous, and you are expected to have a lot of self-discipline when it comes to your academics. I think given my previous experience in the US, where you had a lot more flexibility, and I think because there was a lot of emphasis on continuous assessment, because there wasn't just such a heavy weightage on the final exam that you take at the end of the year. It kind of forced you to stay on top of things throughout the semester and throughout the year. Whereas at LSE, a lot of the assessments that take place throughout the year are formative. So they don't actually factor into your final grade. But if you don't put in the effort throughout the year, then you're struggling the month before finals, just sitting there trying to get all of that information into your head and trying to get a good grade, which is possible. I don't support it. It is possible, but it's a lot of effort then towards the, end of the term. But coming back to the academics, there is in my experience, there's a very big distinction between the US and the UK system. The US system offered me a lot more flexibility. At LSE, once you've committed to something, you basically, it's very difficult to then move away from it. Having said that, professors have been very helpful and supportive, but I think given that I came from a liberal arts background, that's not something I can find at a bigger university like LSE, which is, of course, it has so much prestige and, you're learning from some of the best academics in the world. But the one-on-one interactions that I had and the support that I got from my professors at a liberal arts college was very different.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any.
While you're talking, I just want to ask a question on the next topic, which is essentially which everyone's very curious about, is the internship and the job opportunities. Again, you could just compare the two, and we'll move on to the other speakers on the the same issue.
Sure. Again, I think I was. I feel like in hindsight, I knew very little when I started my undergrad. So when I was in the US, I think I just took that as an opportunity to like, oh, I want to go to the US for, the liberal arts education. And that's all I was focused on.
So did you pursue an internship when after your first year, the first summer after during your undergrad?
No, not the first summer. No, I think it took me a while to actually get into the internship game, which I should have started doing a long time ago. So if like looking back, if I was starting college again, that is definitely something I would try and get my hands on as soon as possible. Sorry, it just occurred to me that I was actually interning. So I can put this.
So was it? Yeah. So, okay, no problem. So was it your own? Did you get the internship on your own, or did the college support you?
I'm trying to recall because this was back in 2015. So I'm, taking me a second
to could talk about it in the subsequent years also. How was your internship and job? Did the college support you? Did you have to look out yourself?
Yeah, I think there were some opportunities so I think career-wise, the career center and the career opportunities, the job opportunities that LSC kind of exposed me to was a lot more than what I got at my liberal arts school in the US. Having said that, whatever little opportunities would come in would be like catered towards us as students. So like these were opportunities, like these were organizations that were specifically targeting liberal arts students. So in that sense, it felt like you had an in already. I think at that time, it would have been very hard for me to explore opportunities outside of what was presented to me at the time. So while that was limited, it was there, and you were able to make the most of it. At LSE, on the other hand, there are a lot of opportunities. There's lots of programs that the school does itself in terms of internships and trying to give you like work experience.
And how was it at LSE compared to that?
Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm trying to touch on. I know that at the master's level, they have this parliamentary internship program. So very competitive, of course, but they try and like put you, like you basically work with a member of the parliament in one of the houses for a couple of months. So these are like, and they have different schemes like that for both undergrads and master's students. They have a very, I think, extensive list of resources on their website, which frankly anyone can access. So if you're interested in, I think, figuring out how to tailor your CV or your cover letter, or like trying to get resources on how to find job opportunities in the UK in general, I highly recommend going to LSE's career website, because they have a lot of different resources that you can access even without being a student at LSE. And
that's a very useful information, Ellie.
Yeah,
thank you.
I would definitely encourage that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yashaswini, I believe, has to leave. If anyone has a specific question to Yashaswini, she is an undergraduate student at LSE. Please put it on the chat box. Now, I would like to, one of our speakers, I haven't been able to engage so far. I'm sorry, Shaila. UBC Canada. Shaila, you're there, right?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I haven't been able to engage. I've been moving between Canada, US, though. But so why don't you share your experience at UBC? And I have a specific question for you. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah, I have a specific question regarding the major choices at UBC. Can you take two majors? How do you select your majors? How, what are the factors that you need to consider? How strict it is, prerequisites, etc., like other colleges in Canada? Shaila?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I think kind of like at UFT, it is pretty competitive to get into your major. You kind of have to apply again to there's like a formal application that you have to fill out for some majors. Like I think that's the case for economics and for political science. So it is very competitive, and so a lot of times what people do is they have backup majors just in case they don't make it into things like, you know, what they want to do, like economics. So like I have a friend who knew very early on that economics is very competitive, doesn't really have the grades to make it into economics as a major, so decided to then shift his major to poli-sci and take commerce as a minor, which is far easier to do. And so yeah, that's kind of the case. I think though the exception is to psychology, like I have taken psychology, you don't have to apply again. You kind of just declare your major in the second year. And the minute you get through to UBC, you're already a psychology major. Like you don't have to reapply again. But like computer science is also very difficult to get into. So you really have to be a little smart about how you want to you know, what you want to choose as your major. And if you can't really get it, then I'd suggest taking it in as a minor. So yeah.
All right, that's great. Thanks. And Shaila, while you are, you know, just tell us a little more about the UBC campus life. We haven't talked about the Canadian University's campus life so much, but if you could tell us about how's the student life, how does it work in terms of clubs and schedules and all.
Yeah, so UBC has a massive campus. It's like a city in itself. It's really, really big. So as a result of that, it's also very like, you can get lost there, you know, and it's it is a little hard to, you know, kind of I guess make friends and things like that, but you kind of need to make the effort. And I think for socially, like something that really works out really well in UBC is living on campus. It's great to then make friends, find your own community and things like that. At least that's the case in my experience. But yeah, campus life, otherwise it's great. You have a ton of resources that you never really know about because UBC promote them that great. But yeah, it's great.
Would you like to talk about any specific club that you are a part of at UBC?
Yeah, sure. I'm a part of the mental health network at UBC currently. And so I mean, there are a lot of mental health clubs and things like that at UBC. Clubs are very competitive. And something I've noticed is that they do have those fairs to, you know, become members of the clubs, but to join clubs as executive members is generally what's very competitive, and they have a whole application process that goes on generally now in the summer. And so like the mental health network, they've just had, you have to reapply every year. So I've just reapplied for the mental health network this year again. And yeah, so you have like a whole process and all. So yeah.
So as part of the network, what have you been engaged in as part of the mental health club network?
Yeah, so they have events throughout the year. They have workshops they conduct for first years. They host like peer support networks. I mean, and they also have these events which really promote UBC mental health resources on campus, as well as alternatives. Because I mean, I think mental health is a very pressing issue, not just in UBC, I think worldwide. So yeah, I think you know, it's a great initiative, and they really try their best to kind of help promote mental wellness on campus. So yeah.
Perfect. Thanks. Thank you, Shaila. And before I move on to all specific questions for these students, on the internship, I'm just throwing it open once anybody would like to talk about their internship and job experiences in Cambridge, Brown, USC, King's. Anybody please jump in, and then I have some more specific questions for the few students.
I don't mind jumping in for tips because I'll have to drop off in a bit. I think one of the things that because I'm doing a law degree, it's a bit different. In the UK, there are specific law firms that you apply to, and the process starts very early on. You need to be on it from your first year itself. So the process usually is you do some sort of a first year scheme, you do a second year vacation scheme, and then you get a training contract, which is what you want to do as a lawyer. Or on the other hand, you can become a barrister who practices in court. I think the support that you get at King's is very, I'm not sure if it's especially unique, but it is definitely very strong. So the process that a lot of these law firms have is that you need to first send in a written application, where about 65 to 70% of applicants get cut off. Only 30% really move on to the interview stage. And after that, it's even fewer people who actually get into these vacation schemes. And it's about 17% of law graduates in the UK who actually end up with a training contract. So it becomes extremely competitive, and you need to have some sort of edge. And I think King's does that really well in the sense that we have our King's Careers and Employability team, and they are very dedicated, and they have access to support almost every day of the week. So if you just send them a message and say that I'm submitting an application to so-and-so firm, and the deadline is in 2 days, they usually get back to you saying that send in the application today, we'll review it and give you some feedback on it.
And they do give feedback. And they do give feedback.
Yeah, the feedback that they give is really helpful, because there are certain things that obviously this is not just law specific. All the big banks and things like that, they look for certain things, certain structure in your cover letters and CVs, certain buzzwords. And I remember seeing my CV very recently from the first day when I entered into uni and applying to the first year schemes, versus now that I've secured a training contract, and it's exceptionally different. And I think a lot of it goes down to what King's did with it, because it's more of modification than actually adding substance to it. So even this is the same with interviews. So they schedule mock interviews with you, where they present you with a case study and ask you to decipher it in similar conditions as that you would face in a real life interview. And of course, because a lot of students go through this process, they will ask, group exercises and things like that. They will arrange them for you as well, so that you get pretty much an entire overview of what's to come once you attend your assessment center. So you really have a very solid understanding of what to do and what not to do.
That sounds like a very helpful practice that they are following. And I'm sure it's very, very useful for the students who who are studying at King's to be able to, as they move ahead in their career. Right. That's thank you so much, Siddharth. Can I have Eliza would you be able to throw some light on the internship and job opportunities through Cambridge? Are you there?
Yes, hello. I think one of the best things about jobs from Cambridge is that employers will come to you, which is quite a unique position to be in. It means that you get exposed to lots of different companies and lots of different industries. So in 1 week, you could go to an event with a law firm and then go to something with finance. Another big strength of Cambridge, which obviously is a strength of going to a London university, is that Cambridge has a massive business and science park with a lot of different companies. So a lot of people from the uni actually get employed there, and there's like a strong geographical link. But in terms of the careers service, what I've heard at other places is that if you're doing a humanities degree, I did history, that kind of means they'll push you to go and do a job in law or a job in consulting or whatever, and they won't encourage you to go into STEM or finance. But Cambridge is pretty open, and they would say, if you want to go and do tech, you can go and do that with a history degree, and we'll give you the skills and the training you need to get there. And that was like a real standout for me. So I did history and now I work in tech.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Yes.
Yeah, it's like a really unique opportunity to be able to do that, rather than being kind of stuck having to apply to law, because that's what like people assume history degrees go on to do. So yeah, I thought that was a real benefit.
Yeah, thank
Also
you.
worked
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Cambridge.
Thanks, Eliza. Okay.
We have a request for
Anuj.
Samarth to kind of speak on this. Is Samarth still around?
Anuj, yeah, Samarth, of course, we
are you
have a
there?
question from the audience, and I would like to specifically know from Anuj, how was it at U Delft? Because now that he's moved to US. Anuj, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. So
Yeah, so
internships are not part of the curriculum in bachelor, but they are in the masters. So it's for credit in the masters. And I've seen some people do internships in bachelor, but it's mostly in the masters. Similarly, job opportunities are also mainly in masters. So in the Netherlands and also in like the western part of Europe, except the UK, of course, people generally always have to do a master's to get like a good job. But after you do your master's, a job is pretty certain, and an internship opportunity is also pretty certain in masters. So that's
okay,
what the
that's great to know. I have yeah, okay. Nisha from Brown is saying she has to leave. If anyone has specific question related to Brown, we have some questions pouring in from the audience. Can I have Samarth to talk about the internship opportunities at Ashoka? We have a question from the audience. Yeah, Samarth.
So Ashoka actually has like a really important focus on internships. They make sure that we get around 3.5 months for summer because they really prioritize summer internships. And in terms of placements and like job opportunities, a lot of good companies do end up coming to Ashoka. And that's in part to the sort of founder network that we have. It's really, really well sort of built into a lot of private equity channels. A lot of the financial world does come to Ashoka and does see Ashoka on the same level as like colleges like LSR, SRCC, BITS Pilani. So you have your main sort of consulting companies that come. And in addition to that, a lot of newer Indian companies like Zomato, Swiggy, Oyo, neobanks and new banking software also end up hiring a lot from Ashoka. Ashoka's internships also enjoy companies like Hindustan Unilever, Whirlpool, JSW. And in terms of getting these internships, it's very competitive because everyone at Ashoka sort of fights for them. But your pool is you're just fighting amongst Ashokans itself. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. That's encouraging to know the names of the companies that you mentioned for internships and job opportunities at Ashoka. I see one question to for King's Law.
If I could
Okay,
just,
Avi has joined. Avi's just
I was
joined, is
there.
it?
No, I was there the entire time.
Oh, okay. I didn't get a confirmation of you joining and I didn't see. So sorry, Avi. Yeah,
No.
welcome and thank you. Please talk about University of Michigan. We're so happy to have you here, Avi.
I just wanted to jump on like the previous question about internships. So I'm doing I'm doing computer science at University of Michigan. I just finished my first year. So one thing I definitely noticed was that it's a lot easier for citizens to get an internship as compared to like if you're there on an F1, like a student visa.
Okay.
And the internship process is like, it starts like right when the year starts in August or earlier. So it's very tough to get a first internship because you'll be applying with, basically you'll be applying with your high school resume because you haven't done anything in college yet. You don't have a GPA yet. So it's very tough to like get a first year internship that early. And another window opens second semester, but that's tough as well because like no company would want to pay a first year student for software or like for data science or something like that. But definitely the chances increase once you're in second or third year. Most people do an internship at the end of their junior year. That's like the most common thing, and this is true for like anyone who's doing computer science in the US, not specific to just UMich.
Okay. All right. I have a very specific question for you, Avi, regarding UMich. is that for computer science, does the university offer opportunities for Industry Connect in your course?
I don't know of any, like, particularly, like, I don't know any specific courses or anything which does that, but I do know clubs. For example, there's something called Michigan Data Science Team. It's a club, and they have these sort of projects where you work with a real company to sort of do some sort of data science project. So, like, definitely you can do it through clubs, and there's also there's a portal where you can apply for jobs or for internships. So I guess stuff
All
like
right.
stuff like that.
So pretty much it's student driven primarily, I would say that.
Yeah.
You have to seek the opportunities that are available.
That's right.
All right. I have a question for KCL Law. How do you go about preparing for the LNAT? Any particular aspects to focus on?
I think Siddharth is not here.
Siddharth is
This question. I think he's not there. So we can forward the question to him and get the response back.
Yeah,
so Kamalika, if you can just make a note of this question and we'll try and get you an answer.
Yeah, this is from Adhiraj Vohra. Mr. Adhiraj Vohra would like to. So we will get back to you on this question because Siddharth has left, but we will get you connected on that. Shlok, we have a question for you regarding the internship opportunities at U of T. If you have any insights to share, considering you're just finished first year, just let us know if you've come to.
I'm actually doing an internship in India itself, but a lot of people do stay back in the summer to do internships in Toronto.
So the question is, does the university offer you?
So I'm just getting to that actually. So the university does help you get internships because they do have tie-ups with a bunch of companies. Especially so when it comes to Rotman, the business school. If you're in the business school, they have a really dedicated career services, a career department that'll work with you on your resume and basically getting you ready to apply for internships. And they have connections to companies that recruit from Rotman itself for internships. The CS department and the engineering department are fairly similar in that regard. Now, when you go to more obscure or more, not obscure, but other courses in the Faculty of Arts and Sciences itself. So, for example, I'm doing applied math. The internships are obviously more sparse in terms of what you can find, but the school does have a co-op. The Faculty of Arts and Sciences itself has a co-op program which you can apply for, in which you're working for 1 year in between your years of study itself. So that counts for a certain amount of credit. You get a full salary, and the university essentially it does help you get an internship, so to speak.
Oh, that's okay. That's great to know. Right.
And
we are all
can I just
please,
add one more
yeah,
thing?
sure.
And the other thing is that a lot of U of T's clubs are really important when it comes to internships because U of T has around more than 200 clubs. So a lot of them are really good places to network in because you have events by big companies like McKinsey, Bain, and stuff like that. So the clubs are another important aspect of student life in terms of finding internships. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Thank you, Shlok. That's very helpful. I have a question for Vedant here, very specific to Flame.
Yes,
Vedant, you're there? Right. Why do you
Yeah.
think Flame is becoming a highly preferred liberal arts college in India? What's your take on that? Yeah.
So I believe liberal arts again is pretty new in India as compared to other countries. And like when people have the opportunities for studying not only just the conventional streams like maths, arts, commerce, and science, they can like they're separate streams you can study from, do whatever you want, and that is what you can make your career on. Like along with the academic services provided by Flame, the place is the campus is very scenic. So that is also one of the reasons why I've like a lot of my batchmates, we all discussed a lot, and we found out that they had applied to Ashoka, but they decided to come to Flame because there's what do you call
They
this?
like there's good vibe in the campus and good courses on offer, right? You would vote for that.
Yeah, as well, like the people in Flame are from all around the country, so that also pretty much helps a lot.
All right, thank you, Vedant. I have one last question to Shivi from USC. There is a fun element to it. Shivi, will you please answer this two things for me? That is, USC is known for University of Spoiled Children. What is your take after first year? That's one. Secondly, how would you say how good is the STEM program at USC? If you could just share your insights.
Okay.
Shivi? Yeah.
I'll start with the first question. So USC does have a reputation for being the University of Spoiled Children. And I believe in India, it might come from, I don't know if everyone knows, but some children of Indian celebrities have gone to USC. In Los Angeles specifically, from what I've heard, USC it came about because we had UCLA, which is a leading university. We had some state schools, some more vocational schools, but then there needed to be a university for the children of industrialists, for the children of more well-off families. And that's how USC came about, and that's what I believe is how it came about. But today, after 1 year of being at USC, my experience is that it's very, very diverse in terms of financial backgrounds of students. USC provides a lot of scholarship funding for people from lower income backgrounds. Some of my best friends at USC are on 100% scholarship. But then there are people, of course, it's a very expensive school to be at. There are people who are paying completely out of their pocket. So there definitely are people who can afford that. But then there are also people who are on scholarship, and it's very diverse, not just in terms of financial background, in terms of countries, localities within the US that people are from, interests, everything.
All right. Would you like to highlight on the STEM part of USC, probably the Viterbi College of Engineering or the other STEM courses?
Yes. So Viterbi, I've heard is a top engineering school in the US. And I've heard good things about the engineering STEM programs at USC. They're rigorous. I have quite a few friends in them. Some of my favorite professors are from Viterbi. That's all I have to say because I'm not in Viterbi, but I believe USC is pretty good for STEM. But primarily, I'd say USC is known for its communication school. It's known for its business school, and also for Viterbi, the engineering school.
All right. We are almost nearing the end, but we have a few questions. I can see we are making a note of it, and our speakers have to leave now. And we will get those answers, Molly, for you, and we would be very happy to answer those questions. We made a note of it. Before we, actually call it off this wonderful event and the conversation that is going on, just the speakers who are there, many of them had to leave. One last tip that you would like to leave for your juniors. You could type it in the message if possible. that keep it in mind before you start college, or as you start college, or as you gear up for college? What's the tip to your juniors? Anyone? I guess we have our speakers have mostly had to leave.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Shivi and Vedant, I see are the two speakers here. If you could just leave a tip for the juniors.
Anujay also.
And
yeah, we have Anujay.
Anujay also, yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
Anujay, yes.
Yeah, so my tip for DU Delft is that you have to be strong in what you do, and you have to be sure, and you need to be like, you need to be really strong in life. You need to be really focused because there is no room for error. And if you want to do it in 3 years, it's doable, it's possible, you can do it. But yeah, you'll have to be on the top of your game for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Anujay. That's helpful. Any other, Anujay? We have a question from Samaksh for you on the projects for aerospace engineering. I don't think we can answer it now, but we will facilitate this answer. Please do share it with us.
Yeah, I was actually writing this answer now.
Okay, great. Yeah, please go ahead. Any other tip from the seniors to the juniors before we call it a day here?
Yeah, so I'll just say this. Everyone, please keep an open mind and talk to a lot of people during your first semester, because I'm pretty sure by the end of your year you will be on a less social status. Like your social battery will be exhausted, and making friends might be a little bit tougher as compared. So please talk around in the first semester. It'll help you a lot.
Yeah, that's a great tip actually,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
for kids going there, they don't know what is like, waiting for them. So thank you, Vedant.
Thank you so much. And
Thank you,
Romy, I
everybody.
think let's
Yeah.
officially thank everyone. Yes, Romy.
Sure. So thank you everybody for joining us, our speakers. We have a few left with us. These budding scholars, thank you so much for giving us your time over the weekend. And we might be getting back in touch with you, with the questions. If our students have some questions, we might bug you with some of them. Thank you so much. And thank you for the audience. Thank you for, spending the Saturday evening with us. If you have any specific questions directed towards any particular speaker of ours or university, please, you can get in touch with Kamalika or me, and we will try and get you the answers. Right. Have a great evening, everyone, and a great weekend ahead. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. And thank you, Anjana, for facilitating this. Thank you, Richa, for being.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Have a good
Have a great
weekend, everyone.
Great weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.